Hey guys, what is up? It is Reaper Jinkai here, and today, hopefully we are going to have a legendary episode. Pun intended, I'm bad, I'll go sit in the corner now. I apologize. But, in all seriousness, I am rocking the celestial background for this PowerPoint for my personal favorite legendaries. And I thought it was only fitting because, Celestial, Legendary, they kind of go together. Badass ranking. That's what we're looking for. Before we start, I just want to remind you guys, this is my opinion. It does not mean they are the best competitively. It does not mean they are the best in that generation. It does not mean anything. It just means this is what I like. So if you guys differ from my opinion, go ahead and leave your favorite legendaries from each generation in the comment section, and then we can talk about it peacefully. Kind of have a conversation, be buddy friend like. But anyways, moving on, let's get on to this top 6, I suppose. So I'm starting with Gen 6, and I love Yveltal. I know there's an argument over if it's Yveltal or Yveltal, I think. Personally, I call it Yveltal because it's easier for me to pronounce. I really don't get into the, is it this or this? I'm just like, hey, I'll call it what I want, you call it what you want, we're buddy, whatever. But anyways, I like Yveltal just because... Where to start? Well, first off, some things I liked from when I was a kid. If you remember my least favorite Pokemon, Cringeworthy, with Xerneas. I like Pokemon that can fly, because when I throw them into my party, it's not a hard decision. Because honestly, I find I always catch probably the first bird Pokemon in each generation, and they're kind of mediocre come late game. So it's like, oh, well, this legendary can fly. Boom, problem solved. But, I don't know, I just love its design. Oblivion Wing, the first time I saw it, oh my god, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was hopping up and down. My friend literally went and got me like a warm glass of milk or something. Whatever calm is supposed to make you tired. He's like, drink this, you are too hyped right now. I'm going to hit you if you don't calm down. I was excited. It was just ridiculous. Like, you can't tell me the first time you saw that animation you weren't like, you serious? That's just powerful. That is what the Pokemon screams to me. I was thinking about Zygrade for this because I tend to be more lenient towards Dragon, and I like ground types as well. But he's a physical attacker without Dragon Claw. Physical dragon without Dragon Claw. And I was like, yeah, no, sorry, Zygrade. And then I haven't had a chance to use Xerneas, so I don't know if I would like Xerneas or not. So, yeah, Yveltal's the winner. Oh, by the way, this might be a longer episode because I'm going to go through and explain how I picked the one that I picked. Yeah, kind of like that. So, Gen 5, Zekrom. Oh, speaking of dragons. So, little bit of background with my history with a lot of the games, actually. Me and one of my best friends, I would always get both games for my birthday, Christmas, whenever I got it. Because my parents knew I liked it, and they're like, oh, well, here's both games. We don't know which one you wanted, so here's both. And for a while, my mom got upset because she would give me both games, and then I would give one to my best friend so that we could play together and battle each other. And I don't think she understood that it's basically the same game with slight changes. like legendaries, for example, or like where you, or what Pokemon shows up in this grass compared to this one. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same game. So she didn't understand that, and she didn't understand why I couldn't play both games. So once we went through and explained it to her like that, she was cool with it. So she's happy that me and my friend had something that we could play together, bond over. And he got Reshiram, which he loves because he likes the fire type, and I got Zekrom, and I was like, oh my god, it's a black dragon with red eyes! Yu-Gi-Oh! Call a copyright! um, I'm just speechless. I don't know. Like, Reshiram, okay, I guess I should go and explain why I picked Zekrom. Reshiram, I might get a lot of hate for this, but I wasn't that impressed with Reshiram. My dog's playing with a toy in the background, so I apologize if that's in the video, but where was I? I wasn't that impressed with Reshiram because when I think of dragons, legendary dragons at that, I think big, powerful, threatening, and Zekrom screams that. But Reshiram came more off as a more feminine to me. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, to me, it did not scream the power I was looking for. I love Zekrom, and again, back when the graphics were what they were in 5th gen, I know that was only a gen ago. Like, we have had a huge jump in the graphics. When I saw Fusion Bolt, or was it Fusion Bolt and Fusion Flare, or did they have like something different at the beginning? I don't remember. But when I saw Fusion Bolt, I was like, what is this animation? I don't know. I guess that's how I picked a lot of them. Competitively, I have no idea how good he does. I generally don't use legendaries for competitive because it's really hard to find a good-natured one in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Well, I guess I could reset, but not worth it. Anyways, so yeah, there's my number 5. Let's move on to Gen 4. Now, as you guys know, Gen 4 is my favorite generation. And of course I have a dragon for Gen 4. When I first played Gen 4, I'm not gonna lie. I first played Pearl. And I got all the way to the Elite 4. And I just was looking up the levels and stuff. And I don't know if it was because it was the first time playing through and I didn't know what I was doing or what. But, like, I was severely under-leveled. Like, I was 10 levels under the 8th gym. And then I was going to go to the Elite 4 and be, like, 20 or 30 levels under. So I tried grinding and I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm just done. I can't grind for that long. So then Platinum came out and I think they, like, increased the amount of experience you get or something, or made the game easier, which... What birth? I don't remember what birthday that was. But my aunt sent me the game through the mail, and I got Platinum, and I played that all night. I got it at like 5 p.m. and I played till 10 a.m. I was like, I want to say I was like anywhere from 13 to 16, somewhere in that range. I don't know what year it came out. It's my favorite game in the series, but I don't know what year it came out. And when I first saw Garantina, I was like, this is infinitely better than Palkia. Like, with that little animation to where it just comes out of the ground and it just like attacks your screen. I was like in my teenage dream. I don't know how to describe it. I was so happy. I was like a ghost dragon type. That's ridiculous. Why has this not been done before? Better question is, why hasn't it been done again? But I just love Garantina. Like, Dialga looks sweet, don't get me wrong, but didn't like it that much. Palkia, I didn't like at all. Not one bit. Arceus, I never got around to getting, so I never used it, don't know. Plus, the whole plate thing, just, personally, I think it's a waste of an item slot to just switch its type. Mesprint, Yuxi, and Azelf, they were kind of the smaller, weaker ones, kind of irrelevant in my opinion. I used my Master Ball on Mesprint, though, because the little thing just freaking runs! Oh, the Distortion World. I have to talk about the Distortion World. I am sorry if this is going to be a long video. I apologize. But I have to talk about the Distortion World. Was anybody else so excited when you got in there? Like, I was confused. I'm not even joking. I got to the waterfall, and I was sitting there like, I don't have the HM for waterfall yet. I can't use it. Okay, but this is a dead end. I was literally stuck in there for like an hour of the 17 hours I played straight. And then finally I was like, well, let's just bump into the waterfall, see what happens. I go down, and I was mind blown. I was like, what? You can't do that to me. You tricked me. You bitches. But I just love the Distortion World. Let me calm down. Let me form a proper sentence. The Distortion World is probably a big part of why I love Giratina, because that was probably the best map in any game. And that is why I want a Gen 4 remake. Make it like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Make it something Pearl and something Diamond, and then have an after story like you did with Emerald. Do that, but with Platinum. And then let us go to the Distortion World again. With those 3DS graphics, I will literally die on the inside. When I get there, I will probably hop on a recording, and I will record my reaction, because I will be so hyped. But as much as it pains me, I need to move on to Gen 3, or this is going to be like an hour-long video, and I'm going to be so sad. Okay, Gen 3. Rayquaza. Love Rayquaza from Gen 3. I did not like the Groudon and Kyogre matchup, rivalry, whatever. I always pick Groudon over Kyogre because I liked his design better. But I did not like their matchup because Kyogre would destroy Groudon. Type advantage. Like I was a kid sitting there like, why is this a battle? Like, why is Groudon not losing? And then they introduced Rayquaza. I'm like, that's the legendary we needed. Little side story. My best friend, the one I've always played games with, Pokemon games with, his favorite legendary is Rayquaza. And he was playing Emerald one day. I lent it to him and he was playing through it. And he gets to what's the tower called? Why can't I not remember Rayquaza's tower? Dragon Spiral Tower? I think that's what it is. But I also think that might be from Gen 5, though. Okay, whatever tower Rayquaza was in, he gets that one. And back in the original Gen 3 games, you, like, had to use your bike to go over the floor panels before they would break. And you had to have the mock bike to do it. And he just could not do that puzzle. He could not do it. And I've always been better at puzzles than he has. And for whatever reason, my teams would always beat him. But I'd also be like 5 or 6 levels higher because of grinding. But, so I got him all the way up there. Got him to Rayquaza. He doesn't save. Goes into the battle with Rayquaza. That doesn't save is kind of foretelling what's going to happen, but I don't care. So he goes into the battle with Rayquaza. And I turn back to do what I was doing. Not 2 seconds later, I hear him scream, "Shit." I turn and look at him. I go, "What the hell did you do?" And he goes, "I ran from Rayquaza." I'm just going to let that sink in. He ran from Rayquaza. And guess where he had last saved? At the bottom of the tower. Guess who had to get him to the back of the top of the tower again? I did not hand him back. Like, literally, I got him back to the top of the tower. And he goes, "Okay, I can take it." I go, "No." He goes, "What?" I saved his game and then handed it to him. Because back then, it wasn't like an impossible puzzle, but it was by far one of the harder ones I've ever had to do in a Pokemon game. So, I'm trying to think of other legendaries in Gen 3. Why can't I only think of those 3? Well, I'm just going to leave it at those 3. But, yeah, I like Rayquaza best because his ability just poops on the other 2. And then he just has the best design. So let's move on to Gen 2. Lugia. So I played Soul Silver and Silver as a kid. I never played Gold. In fact, I don't even think I played the original Silver. I think I played Crystal. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I played Crystal, and then I played Soul Silver. Side note, Game Freak. Just a little hint as to what a lot of fans want. I want a damn Gibble to follow me. Like, come on. Gen 4 remakes, do it. Gen 4 remake, have it so that Pokemon can follow you. Let my Gibble follow me in its homeland. Good, but moving on, back to the legendary. It was one of those things to where Lugia and Ho-Ho, I both like their designs. Had no problem with either one of their typings. For, like, as a kid, I always thought Lugia was a water type, though. Fun fact, it's flying psychic. Or psychic flying. Yeah, because flying's never a primary. It's always a secondary. Okay. And, me and my friend were talking about it one day, and he goes, oh, well, Ho-Ho could destroy Lugia. I go, yeah, if Lugia doesn't land, Hydro Pump, which it has when you catch it. So it's not one of those things like you gotta go looking to get Hydro Pump, you gotta level it up to get Hydro Pump. It comes with it. As far as I know, Ho-Ho doesn't get a dark type move, or Ghost. Type-wise, I don't know who has more weaknesses. Oh, the dogs. I should probably cover the dogs. I'm sorry if I'm getting less hyped as I go on. I thought it would be the opposite. I thought I would get more hyped as I go on because I'm getting more nostalgic. I should have started with Gen 1 and went to Gen 6. I am sorry. But, out of the three dogs, I liked Suicune the best to use. And I thought Raikou had the best design. But, like, in the games, if I had to pick one for, like, the Pokemon movies and series, definitely freaking Entei. The movie with the Entei is probably one of my favorites. And so they kind of all hold their own first place at some point. Like, Raikou, I think, had best design. Suicune, favorite to use, and Entei was the best in the series. Lugia, I liked how in, like, not a movie, but in the actual series, they had a Lugia and the baby Lugia. I think there's probably second gen, since that's where it was relevant. But I want to feel like it was something with Team Aqua that they found the Lugia or something in the TV series, but I don't remember exactly. No, thinking it was Team Rocket. So, and it was Butch and what's her name? At least I think his name was Butch. I'm really hoping I said his. I know, like, the gag with him was that they would say his name wrong and he would scream, It's this, not this. And I really hope that what they called him was Butch. And I just remembered that and can't remember his name, so I called him Butch. I really hope that's what just happened, but I know I probably just said a random name and it's not even close. But Gen 2, I don't know. Gen 2 was a good generation. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I need to make a top 6 generations. I don't know. I'm not going to promise anything. I'm trying to get through the types after legendaries. But anyways, let's get to Gen 1, then I can talk about that. So moving on, Gen 1. If you do not know where all this is from, you're not too young. You're still a Pokemon fan. But you need to go watch Pokemon the first movie. I thought this is what Mewtwo was going to look like when I first saw him. When I first saw him, I saw him in this stuff. I'm like, that is bad ass. He needs to be in that. But no, he breaks out with psychic abilities, which still pretty cool. Still like his design. The armor made him look more badass, in my opinion. My opinion. But, like, I remember going to go see the movie, and during the movie, I had such mixed feelings. Because I was clearly a lot younger. I think Gen 1 came out, in America at least, 95-ish. So I was born in 96, so Pokemon's been relevant my whole life. As far back as I can remember having a little Game Boy playing Pokemon. But I remember watching the movie and having mixed feelings. Because obviously I was a lot younger. And the younger you are, the more innocent you are, and you don't know. You know there's good and evil, but you don't know that it's actually relevant in the world. Like, there are things that are evil and there are things that are good. It's not just playtime. But, so I was watching it. I was watching Mewtwo, and, like, yeah, you've always had the evil Meowth in the series, and Arbok and Weezing, but they were more comic relief than actual threats. Like, every once in a while, they got good, and so on and so forth. And then you go and see Mewtwo, and, like, he is just sitting down, twiddling his fingers, causing this massive storm. And you're like... And as a little kid, I was sitting there, I didn't know how I feel. Because it was one of those things like, this is really cool, this is awesome. But at the same time, it's like, this isn't the Pokemon I know. But Pokemon is safe, friendly, not storms of Ash, Misty, and Brock almost drowning. That's not the Pokemon I know. And then as the movie went on, Mewtwo starts cloning the other Pokemon. And he starts making them evil. And it's like, what's going on? Like, it brought a whole nother side to Pokemon. A side I didn't know existed at that point. I was like, Pokemon's kind of dark. Like, the good guys still won. But it got really dark for a bit. It introduced a side of Pokemon that I'm sure I wasn't the only little kid that thought like that. I'm sure at some point there was other little kids thinking, wow, this is not the Pokemon I knew. And it made me love Pokemon so much more. I know it sounds weird to sit there and say, oh, well, the fact that Pokemon got really dark made me love it. Like, I'm not a sadistic person. It's not the fact that it got dark. Sorry about that. It's the fact that Pokemon wasn't just black and white anymore. They were adding layers to it, and I feel they have kept adding layers to it over the years, and that is why I am still a fan of Pokemon. And that is why Mewtwo is my favorite Gen 1 legendary, because he was the first one to introduce this new layer to me, to make me see that Pokemon isn't just this happy dory catching Pokemon for fun. Which, I mean, like, it still is. It is that in the games, but they showed that it can be more. It is more. Pokemon is what you make it. And that is what I love about Pokemon. So, I am... Let's see. Okay. I didn't even talk about the other legendaries. Mew could only get through a glitch. So, as a little kid, wasn't happy with that. And the birds, I felt like they were the same Pokemon, different typing. That's just how I felt. So, yeah, that's why Mewtwo is my favorite there. But, that and all the things I said before. But, thank you guys for watching. I don't know what happened at the end there. I am sorry if that bored you. If that got you hyped for Pokemon, I am happy I could do that for you. But I am sorry if that just got into a long rant that nobody wanted to hear. But that is how I honestly feel about Pokemon. Next, we are going to have my top 5 favorite Pokemon of each type. The rules for that is it just has to be that type. It doesn't have to be its primary type. And obviously it can be dual typed. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good day. And I'm sorry this video is so long. I think I forewarned in older videos that it was probably going to be a long one. But there's just so much to talk about with legendaries, and I love them so much. So, I won't keep you guys here any longer.